Holy cow. Well, I've been trying to find an edit site for edit my videos because I don't like to do it in one great big long shot. That's really hard to do. And I like to be able to edit my videos where I can have opinion here, and opinion here, and opinion here. That's the reason you'll see my shirt change and the seasons change in my longer edit videos. That's what I want to do. And I've been having a hard time trying to find one. It's not easy finding an actual free one because I don't want to spend an utmost amount of money for one of these stupid sites. Just make it free. Just make it free. There's not a lot of people that have a lot of money to doll out to these stupid edit sites, and that's all I want to do. Because my goal is to put Mom on the end from when she did one of my outdoor videos with me, and she said that's all for now. And I wanted to put Mom on the end as more as a tribute towards Mom more than anything else. And that's why that's how I want to end my videos going here on out, because Mom was so proud, so proud of my opinion videos. She would be even more proud that I'm going away from political. I know in the Rob Reiner video I did mention something political, but I didn't go full bore into it. It was just something that just, what? Yeah, I brought it up out of thin air, literally and figuratively, and I just went away from politics. But Mom will be so proud of that. And this video, at least for this video, I don't know about any going forward, but for at least for this video, when I'm done editing it, I'm going to put Mom on the end. And I want to continue to do that as a way to me to honor Mom and her memory, you know, because she's the one that talked me into doing my YouTube channel. My wife has always talked me into keep doing my videos. There's been times I've said I'm done. Wife's like, no, keep doing them. And I will keep doing my videos. There's no end in sight in this. I do have some Why Did It Fell videos planned. I have other stuff planned. I might even have a top 10 list planned, and etc. So I do have some ideas coming forward. You know what? I just wanted to add that on this video before I get into some opinions of stuff, you know, my opinions, before I get into it. What? I know, just a cow. More than likely I'm going to go on a rant. On this video, I haven't done a rant for a while. But we pose a question. A serious question. Why is it at this point in time, we're almost in 2026, why are we so brain dead, and it's usually famous athletes that get in single jet engine airplanes? And I'm saying, why? No, seriously, why? When you look at history, look at some of the biggest names in history that have died in single jet engine airplanes, from John Denver to the great Buddy Holly to the great Patsy Cline. There was also a Kennedy that did. And how could we forget Kobe Bryant? All these people have died in single jet engine airplanes, and trust me, I have forgotten a whole lot, because there was also, I remember a few years ago in NASCAR, Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon's team members were in a single jet engine airplane, crashed, they all died. And people go, well, they're just as safe. I hear this argument a lot, and it's asinine. They go, well, single jet engine airplanes are just as safe as commercial airlines. Wrong. They are not. They're nowhere near as safe. I know, when you say commercial airlines, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And it's always the first thing that comes to mind was 9/11. But do you know that they go over these commercial airlines with a fine-tooth comb, and the chances of them going into the ocean is about 1%. So the chances of you going to make your destination is relatively good. because they're always investigating and they're always making sure that these airplanes are completely safe, because they want to make sure people get to their destination safe. I know people always talk about 9/11, and that's the one thing that is always brought up. And I know there's a light glare that's in the kitchen, so don't mind it. So, with that said, it is getting dark. I don't do videos in the dark, but I should be okay. So, let's get back into, oh boy. So we had another tragedy again in a single jet engine airline. And former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, who I will talk about somewhat, I'm hoping I can talk about him, I should be able to, was in a single jet engine airline with his wife, his daughter, his son, of course there's the pilot, and there's like a couple others. There was like 7 people on the jet engine, a single jet engine airline, and of course it crashed, and of course all 7 are dead. That's why I posed the question, when are we going to start going away from single jet engine airlines? I can't tell you how many times, because we have an airport here in Ottumwa. Don't worry, it's not Des Moines or anything like that. It's just a little bitty small airport where they have the single jet engine airlines. Makes me want to get on one. And I will be looking out the window and I will see it flying overhead, and all I can think is, when is it going to crash? When is it going to crash? Because they're so unsafe. And when they investigate it, it's almost always the same thing, an engine failure. It's almost always an engine failure. And I hate doing these videos. I don't do them often. I do them enough. I mean, one of the first videos I did way back when was Kobe Bryant. Oh, that like 2020, 2021. Somewhere around there, he was in a single jet engine airline that killed him. It killed his daughter, who was not even that old at that time. And so, and you're like, why are we still doing this at this point? You know what? All right. So Greg Biffle was a very underrated driver. I need to get into this before my rants continue. He was a very underrated driver. He was on NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers. That's a debatable list, but be that as it may. 19 career wins in NASCAR. One of the few drivers, there's not many you can think of, that won a championship in the Busch Series, Xfinity Series, or the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He won a championship in both sports, both divisions. And I think his best year came in 2005, pre-Chase era, where he finished second. It might have been a Chase era, I couldn't think about it. But anyways, where he finished second to Tony Stewart. I think he had like 6 wins, and he only came about 200 points away from being the NASCAR Cup Series champion. But you know what? I really don't know much what else to say about his career, because quite frankly, I'm doing this more about the single jet engine airlines, and I don't even know why at this point that we're still writing in them. With all the tragedies that have happened with it, and a lot of the famous people that I mentioned that we have lost in their prime. Now, Greg Biffle wasn't in his prime. He was only in his 50s. But this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Not only did it kill him, killed his wife, and it killed his son and daughter. An entire family wiped out because you want to go the quickest route, the cheapest route, by flying in a single jet engine airline. Yeah, it's cheaper, but is it really worth it? Is it really worth it when you can just spend the extra dough out and fly on a commercial airline where it's actually safer, where they make sure they are safe? Nobody's going over these single jet engine airlines and making sure that they're safe. They're not safe. They're really not. A freaking helicopter at this point is more safe. You hear of less derailments and on trains than anything else. You couldn't, for the life of you, you couldn't pay me enough money to get on a single jet engine airline. I'm sorry, they're just not safe. I rode on airplanes, commercial airplanes, at least twice. When I was a kid, I went to Arizona in it, and then during COVID, me and my wife we flew to Vegas. It was not a good time to go to Vegas, but be that as it may, and it's safe. It's really safe. Besides your ears popping, other than that, it's safe. Single jet engine airplanes are not safe, and more than likely, it's going to happen again. Somebody famous is going to go on a single jet engine airline and crash and kill an entire family. It's just ridiculous. I mean, you hear about it and you're just going, why? Okay, we're going to go over several things, and there's several opinions, several I want to talk about. Some are more random than others, be as it may. Now, what? Yeah, I did do that, Just a Cow. I reshot the Great Biffle tragedy, but you know what? I was like, I'm overly happy with the video I did, so I went ahead and kept that. It was a hard decision, but you know, it's been a few days since I did an upload, so you know, that's the thing. I like doing it this way. Just doing them every day just gives me time to go over what I want to talk about, and so yeah, I'm happy with it. And I forgot to say rest in peace to the entire Greg Biffle family. So I'll put that on this part of the video because I can't edit it. And so, you know, rest in peace to the entire family and everybody. And hopefully they can find peace in the upcoming weeks, days, months, years with this unbelievable tragedy. And what was the final thing? Oh yes, the background noise. Well, my wife was making supper at night. So that's the reason for the background noise. If you were wondering, that was what was going on. There wasn't construction going on or anything like that. It was my wife making supper. Now we have several things to discuss here. But first, I want to talk about a death that happened the 14th that didn't necessarily make headline news with all the deaths that have happened, you know, like Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle, you know, and the Biffle tragedy that I talked about. This one didn't make news that much. It was barely discussed. A lot of people don't even know it happened. Anthony Greary, 78. If you don't know, you will know the name if you're a big soap opera fan. Like my mom was, she wouldn't know who it was. Well, he died General Hospital as Luke Spencer. And the thing about Greary is Luke was great casting, but it wasn't intended to be a long-running character. It wasn't intended like that. The original storyline, he was just working for the mob. He was going to do a hit. He was going to do a hit. And he raped Laura, who ended up falling in love with him and, you know, ended up marrying him. And one of the highest rated daytime episodes ever that still ranks up there with Who Shot JR, you know, the MASH finale and so forth. And so he won a record 8 daytime Emmy Awards for playing Luke. And I don't know. It just seems like this death just didn't get mentioned hardly at all. I thought I would mention it. It's a lesser known one, but you know what? If you're a big soap opera fan, you pretty much know that Luke pretty much made General Hospital. You really could say that he was one of the reasons behind the huge amount of success for General Hospital. No question about it. So may Anthony Greary rest in peace. I just wanted to mention that. Now let's see. What? When you mention Chicago, a lot of stuff comes to mind. The Blues Brothers is one thing that really comes to mind. The Fugitive being filmed there. A lot of movies have been filmed in Chicago. And then when you're talking sports related, you have the Blackhawks. Does that come to mind? Probably not. I don't know. The Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox, North Side, South Side, and of course you have the Bulls. Of course you have that, and of course you have the Bears. And did I mention the Bulls? I think I did. And of course you have the Bears, and the Chicago Bears have been a mainstay in Chicago, the second longest running team in Chicago behind the Cubs. So the Chicago Bears have been there for quite a few years. And when you think of Chicago, you think of the Bears, those winter games in November and December, smoke coming out of their mouths, the snow, the blizzards, the cold. You think of that with Chicago, with the Bears. Well, you may not be thinking about that anymore with Chicago with the Bears, because they have two proposals. One, an indoor stadium. Why is this becoming such a norm? Indoor stadiums, I swear, should only be used for maybe basketball, baseball, something like that. But football, just leave it where it should be played. The great outdoors. Leave it outside where football should be played. They still play soccer outdoors, I think. That was one proposal. The other proposal, move them to Indiana, the same state of Johnny Appleseed. I know, that's something random for you. Oh, I forgot. I know. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That's pretty much it with Indiana. Oh yeah, and you have basketball and Indiana Hoosiers, and Larry Bird from Prince Lick. But as it may, I have lived in Indiana. I wouldn't recommend it. I live in Fort Wayne, and the Bears moving to Indiana, it just doesn't have the ring. It just doesn't have the ring to it. The Fort Wayne Bears, the Indiana Bears, it just doesn't have the same ring to it. Because usually when they move to a new city, there's rare occasions like the Montreal Expos and the Washington Nationals. But usually when they move to a new city, they keep their motto, whatever their team is known as. They usually keep that. That's why I'm saying Bears, because I'm hoping they can get this situated to where Chicago stays in the same city, because it wouldn't make sense for them to move to Indiana. It really makes no sense whatsoever. Indiana is not, I'm sorry, does not scream Midwestern. It does not scream Midwestern with the sports. It's just not a pro sports state. It's just not. It's just not. I think this is a dumb idea, and hopefully they can get something situated with the city to keep the Bears where they belong, in Chicago, the Bears. They have to change that too, wouldn't they? Anyway, now the next thing. Oh boy. Can't believe we're going from that to this. We're jumping all over the place on this. Literally, you'll see more of that. The Oscars. The Oscars aren't what they used to be. No question about it. It used to be the best movie, the best actors, the best actresses, best songs, whatever have you. The Oscars aren't what they used to be. Nobody's really tuning in to watch the Oscars. More people are watching The View, and that is sad, than they are watching the Oscars. Really think about that. People would rather watch four women scream at each other on The View than to watch the Oscars, and then all they could hope for is somebody would get slapped. So nobody is watching the Oscars. Their views, their ratings they've been in the low 20s. Even it was one of the couple years that they had 10 million viewers. they're just not getting the viewers. And it's almost mafia run, the Oscars is. It's who they think, not necessarily the best movie, who they think should be nominated and who they think should win. Hey, Barbie was up for Music of the Year. That tells you everything you need to know about the Oscars. Fucking Barbie. So, they decided, it's going to be a few years before this happens, they decided that 2029, what? I know that bears me repeating, 2029, 4 years away, or 3 years, whatever, they're going to move to YouTube. I pose a question. Is this a good or a bad idea? Bad. I think it's bad because I don't think YouTube is the right platform for the Oscars. Peacock might be a better choice. That's where the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade is, and that's where the parade for New Year's is, that's where the ball drop is, all that. That's on Peacock. That might have been a better choice than YouTube. I don't think YouTube is the best platform for that, and that's weird that I'm saying that when I'm doing a video for YouTube. I just thought of that. That's weird. Now, let's get into the random portion of this video. Yes, random. We're going to talk about the most random story that you have ever heard, and it shows to show this woman had extreme dedication. No matter how sick it is, she had extreme dedication. There was a Florida woman arrested. Why? In the same day, she murdered both of her ex-husbands, but kept the live-in boyfriend alive. That's a little weird, isn't it? But you gotta say, she had the utmost dedication to doing this because she drove literally about 100 miles out of her way from where she lives to go to another town to murder both of her ex-husbands in the same day. That requires a lot of dedication. Sick, but requires a lot of dedication. You really got to hand it to her that she wasted her time out of her day driving 100 miles to kill both of her ex-husbands. Why? The story is she owed child support. That would fix it all. That would fix it all because now she's going to be sitting in prison waiting for the death penalty. Because it's Florida, by the way. So, that's the random story today I thought I would share. And that's it. That's all I have for this video. What? Oh, God. Jake Paul. Have I ever mentioned Jake Paul in one of my videos? Have I? You don't think so? I don't think so either because I don't watch boxing or MMA or whatever have you. I just don't watch it. I'm mentioning Jake Paul in my videos. Okay, so I guess nothing wrong with this. I'm fine with it. But I don't think the boxing gods liked it. So I guess that he's a Hulk Hogan. He's a Hulk Hogan fan. And so he goes to the ring in a headband, and boxing gloves, and trunks, and a robe, the whole enchilada. Spent a lot of money here. So it's all Hulk Hogan based. Looked pretty cool in hindsight, but the boxing gods are going, Thunderbolt. This is not going to work. It doesn't work for us, brother. My Hulk Hogan impression. So he loses the fight and gets a broken jaw. I think probably next time don't wear the Hulk Hogan theme stuff because the boxing gods, did not like that at all. They did not like that at all, and they struck the idea down because it doesn't work for them, brother.
Me and Mom are saying that's all for now.
That's all for now.